by somebody. I don't remember. The fuck? And can you tell how excited I am? It's so much fun so far. I feel like my fucking microphone is in my fucking esophagus. And also, is it attached? Of all the Goldsboro, bleh, my shits. Well, hello, welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books. I have been just so lazy lately with recording videos, editing videos, all the things. My channel analytics are reflecting that. I don't know if it's like the summer heat, you know, I'm in Arizona and it's 110 plus now, and I'm hot all the time. I'm hot right now. The air conditioning's on. It's neither here nor there. I'm sitting down to record a few videos today. Let's do it. Reminder that while you're here, if you don't really have any thoughts to add, but you just want to say hello and let me know you're watching the video, you can pop a little emoji down below. Love that. Finally going to record my mid-year check-in tag, I think is what it's called. Mid-year reading check-in tag. And this is just a slightly reworked version of the mid-year freakout tag that I think Jessie the reader is the one that like reworked the questions. It's like very, very similar questions, so I'm excited for that. It is already July 12th, so past half of the year, but that's good, right? So I have the full first 6 months worth of books to look at. Question number 1, what is the best book you've read so far this year? This was honestly a little bit difficult because I've had a pretty like good reading year. I've been reading at a decent pace for me. It's kind of fluctuated a bit. January was, I came in hot. But then like February, March was a little slower. It's just been kind of like up and down a little bit. I'll have like 3 weeks of barely finishing any books and then like a week and a half of finishing like 4 or 5, right? I'm just a slower reader, I think, so it takes me a bit longer to finish books. At any rate, while it hasn't been like all gung-ho, just reading everything, and I haven't loved everything I've read by any means, I have had a few really solid reads this year, a few favorites for sure. So this was a little difficult, but I ended up going with The Prisoner of Heaven by Carlos Ruiz Zafón as my like actual pick. That is a book I have read before though. It was a reread. So I don't know, does it count? If I'm not going with The Prisoner of Heaven, because then Adventures of Amina I loved, but that I did technically read for the first time last year as well, because I had a NetGalley arc. Would it be The Battle Drum then? Because I did love not the Angel's Game. That was a reread too. The Labyrinth of the Spirits. I did love that as well. But did I like I think I did have like more of a fun time with The Battle Drum by Sada El Arifi. So yeah, The Prisoner of Heaven technically is like the best book I've read this year, but it was a reread. So for new to me, The Battle Drum. Number 2, what is the most disappointing book that you have read so far this year? That has to go, I think, to Silver Under Nightfall, just because, either that or Dragonfall, actually, because I was really hyped for Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb last year. It was on my anticipated releases. I was super pumped for it, and then I ended up DNFing it and just felt pretty lackluster. I didn't think it was a bad book. It's one I would like recommend to people who like those kinds of tropes and those kinds of stories. Maybe they will love it. It just wasn't for me. So that was a pretty big disappointment. But then Silver Under Nightfall wasn't initially on my radar, but I have the Goldsboro SFF like membership subscription box thing, and that one was coming out, and I was like, oh, okay, I've kind of seen people talking about that one, but not a lot. But then it came out and I saw a lot of people being like, oh my God, favorite, I love it so much. Sexy vampires, fantasy world, hell yeah. So then I was pretty damn pumped for it. I was like, fuck yeah. Of all the Goldsboro books I've gotten, I'm most excited about that one. And I finished it, and it was fine. I still gave it like 3 or 3.25. Did I give it 3.25? I might have given it 3.25. I don't remember. I actually gave it 3.5. I was horribly mistaken. So I didn't hate it, but it was just a disappointment because I just had started it thinking, hell yeah, I'm gonna love this, I think. And then it was also a disappointment when I finished it because it was one of those books where I loved the characters quite a lot. I don't know if they were like my favorite characters of all time or whatever, but they really struck me. Like I really liked them. But the story, the plot was That ended up being pretty disappointing. Number 3, what's the best book recommendation you've received this year? And I don't know. I was trying to think of like if people have recommended books to me that I picked up and was like, oh yeah, like, oh, Joshana, I specifically think you will like this. Probably, but my memory sucks. But the one that came to mind was Starless by Jacqueline Carey. It was technically a Storygraph recommendations, but that's the only way I knew it existed. And I have a vlog where I was doing like Storygraph recommendations and talked about that one. And yeah, I really, really liked it a lot. Fantasy standalone, really cool, epic, etc. Fun times. Number 4, what was your first DNF this year? And technically it was This Time Next Year by somebody. I don't remember. But that one, I technically DNF'd it like right at the start of the year, but I had started it in December, like the end of December. So if we're going with one I started this year, like picked up in 2023 and also DNF'd in 2023, then it would be Queen of Dust by H.E. somebody. I'm the worst. H.E. Dare? Is that right? Yeah, that one was just one that just wasn't working for me at all. Nope, I barely got into that one, I think. Number 5, a new release that you've read this year and your thoughts on it, good or bad. I mean, The Battle Drum by Sara El-Arifi. Again, loved it. So great. Such a great second book. Oh my God. But since I already said that one, I will say Daughters of Izdihar by Hadir Elsbai. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but there were a few things, there were a few elements that just grated on my nerves a bit, but it's one that I can see a lot of people really enjoying. And it was a page turner, very quick read, exciting. Like the plot was like, okay, what's gonna happen next? It was just some stuff with the characters some things that just did not make sense to me. And I was just like, what are we doing here? So wasn't for me, but I can see there being an audience for it. I've seen some people picking it up being like, yeah, no, I had a really good time with that. So if it sounds good, read it. Number 6 is a book that came out in the first half of the year that you still want to read, and then a book coming out still in the second half of the year that you want to read. And so for the first half, there's a couple that I haven't gotten to that were on my anticipated releases that I'm still interested in. I think God Killer by What's-Her-Face? Hannah Kaner, I'm not sure. That one I'm pretty excited about. Elle really loved it, and I've seen a lot of people really enjoying it, and it's a standalone to my knowledge. And I'm very much anticipating that one. And then for the second half of the year, I wrote this one down, and then I did actually start it. I have a NetGalley e-arc for Son of Blood and Ruin by Marielle Lares, and I'm only like 6 to 10% into it, but I am loving it so far, and I'm like trying really hard not to get super hyped. I already was pretty hyped, just the premise of it. I was like, please be good, please be good. It's a gender-bent reimagining of Zorro. There's like Mesoamerican mythology and Mexican history, and instead of the man Zorro, it is a woman who is a warrior sorceress. So there's magic, and she is betrothed to the Prince of Spain. She has a Spanish father and a Mexican mother. So she's a bastard of a Don. Her dad was like the viceroy, whatever. He was some like fancy guy. And she's being married off to the Prince of Spain, but secretly is La Pantera. And it's like a Zorro-ish character. And oh my God, the opening the opening chapters, it was so reminiscent of the opening scene of Mask of Zorro, which I That's why I was so excited. I love Mask of Zorro. Like, as a kid, we had all the Disney, not all, but a lot of the Disney movies on VHS, of course, right? All the, like, the 90s Disney collection. And then we had a few, like, other VHSs, but not a bunch. Like, my parents didn't have some big movie collection or anything. So we had, like, a select few VHSs that my brother and I would just watch over and over again. Ocean's 11, which is my comfort movie that I think I've seen upward, like, over 50 times. Absolutely, like, without a doubt. Like, Rush Hour 2, the other one with Owen Wilson, Shanghai Noon and Jackie Chan, Dude, Where's My Car, and then Mask of Zorro. And we watched it so many times. But yeah, that opening sequence, the courtyard, and the execution about to happen, and the Don coming out and being a dick and everything. And then everyone, like, realizing Zorro's there, but in this, like, realizing La Pantera is there, and then running away. Oh, God, I was just like, oh, my God, so much fun. It's different. Like, it is different. It is its own thing, for sure, but, like, I'm seeing, and the medallion, I'm seeing the little nods to it, and I'm loving it, and the magic system is so cool. And then, like, obviously the sword play and everything, and she has a, like, handmaiden, basically, like a servant that she plucked off the streets that was this girl that she was like, I think I can trust her, so she knows her secret, but no one else does. And can you tell how excited I am? It's so much fun so far. And I'm just like, I'm trying really hard not to get myself overhyped, but as we can see, I'm not doing a very good job because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm loving it. So anyway, that doesn't come out technically until November 7th, though. I have the NetGalley e-arc. So if any of this sounds fun to you, and you have a NetGalley account, and you like to read advanced copies, go request it, because fingers crossed, guys, we're going to have another contender for Best of the Year. I hope. God, I hope. And there's so much of, sorry, I'll stop in a second, but, like, there's so much of the, like, Mesoamerican and, like, language and, like, phrases and names of things, and then obviously, like, Spanish worked in there and Mexican culture too, but there's a lot of, like, the Mesoamerican languages and things, like names of things referenced a lot, and it's just a fun time. It's a really fun time. Okay, I need to move on though. Jesus. Who knew this was going to turn into a gush video of a book that I'm less than 10% into? Watch me come back and be like, I DNF'd it at 60%. I really hope not. I hope not. Number 7 is like 2 versions, but I'm going with the first version, which is, what is the most beautiful book you have added to your collection so far this year? That is, without a shadow of a doubt, A Dowry of Blood. God, now I don't remember. Bookish Box or some shit. What is it? Yeah, Bookish Box exclusive luxe edition. And I took the dust jacket off. The dust jacket is very pretty too. But I mean, hello? It's like this burgundy brown color with the foiling and then the sprayed edges. And then it has lovely little end papers. And then it's signed, cute, whatever. This is the artwork that's on one side of the dust jacket. It is a reversible dust jacket. And that's the front of it. And then the back is her holding the knife. But yeah, it's stupid gorgeous. Every time I read the dedication at the front, I get like emotional. I can't. Oh, it's so good. I'll read it for you. Again, I've read it already like 4 times, I think, but it's so good. To those who escaped a love like death, and to those still caught in its grasp, you are the heroes of this story. Ugh, I love it. Number 8, what genre have you read the most from this year? Fantasy, obviously. But I think I have a higher, let me check my shits. Okay, a fair amount. 32 fantasy. And I was like, I think I have a fair amount of like historical this year. 9. Comparatively, not that much, but it is what it is. But it's a more evened out, I guess. Although technically I do have 9 romance, and some of those were like fantasy romance, but I categorize them by like what they would probably be shelved in, or you know what I mean? If it's a fantasy with some romance in it versus a romance book set in a fantasy world, right? So this year so far, I have 51% fantasy. So that's a little more evened out because usually I have like 80% fantasy. I mean, the year's not done yet, but we'll see. Number 9, do you feel your reading tastes have changed or shifted at all this year? Like a new genre that you love, a new favorite trope, or a new favorite theme? And I am just realizing, I think from rereading the Cemetery Forgotten Books series and recently having read the, was it this year? I don't think it was this year. The What Souls Are Made Of, was that this year? Last year. But I mean, obviously I love Wuthering Heights, which I know is like gothic, historic, well that's not historical at the time, it was contemporary I guess, but now it's a classic that is like gothic literature and now is historical. And I've always liked that, but I just never like delved into the genre a shit ton. I've read like the Jane Eyre retelling or reimagining Jane Steele, also really liked that. And then read What Souls Are Made Of, which is a Wuthering Heights remix, and just loved it. Oh my God. And then reread Cemetery Forgotten Books and was like, you know what? I think a bitch likes historical gothic literature. And yeah, I'm just really like, I guess, solidifying that for myself and realizing I need to delve more into that because it is something I love. It's so funny because if it's like a contemporary or even just like a standard fantasy, and there are characters being like melodramatic and morose and like, all philosophizing about life and what it means, and it's all nihilistic, I get so fucking annoyed. I'm like, shut up. Oh my God, I get so annoyed. But for some reason, when the intention of it, when the theme is gothic, it doesn't bother me. That's the theme. The theme is very like, things are kind of bleak and just dark and like very atmospheric and moody, very moody. And yeah, normally in other genres that aren't meant to be that, I fucking hate it. I hate moody shit. Moody characters, moody stories, all of that. I don't love it. I don't like it. I can be okay with it, but like it's not something I lean into, right? But yeah, historical, gothic, give me all the moody shit. I eat it up. It's so weird. I don't understand. But yeah, I kind of have a running list of more that I need to delve into, things that are like Cemetery of Forgotten Books and things like that. So excited to find some more favorites, hopefully. Number 10, if you set any bookish goals for yourself this year, how are they going? And yes, I do. I'll put the video again if I remember. I never fucking remember to do that, to like put the videos in the cards or whatever. If I remember, I'll put it up there, my like reading goals or whatever. But they're going pretty good, actually. I have like my reading challenge I set up on Storygraph, just my general like how many books to read. That I always set it at like 50. It's going well. I know I'll read 50 books. And then I set up a separate one of like my pile of possibilities, just books I wanted to keep at the forefront of my mind that are on my owned shelves that I want to get to this year. And I'm doing pretty good on that too, I think. I think I'm about halfway through that also, like with those prompts being completed. So loving that for me. Number 11 is what book format have you been gravitating toward this year? I'm definitely more of a physical book reader, 100%. I have read a few more audiobooks this year though, trying to like lean into that and utilize that more. But also ebooks. I have read a lot more ebooks this year, I think. I'm getting more used to it, I suppose, so that's cool. And number 12, the last prompt. A book you have read so far this year that you feel embodies the vibe of your reading year so far. And this was a little hard because I'm like, I don't know, the vibe of my reading year, because my reading year is, like I said, a little slow. Like I'm doing fine on my reading goal. I set it at 50 because I know I'm gonna read. I usually read about 70 or so books in a year, 70 to 80, I want to say. So I'm like, I'll meet that. But like it's been kind of like fluctuating and like it's had very slow moments for sure. I've been reading every single day, but there's many days where I read like a chapter or whatever. So I haven't been doing like a lot of reading, but I have been reading every single day. I'm keeping track in Storygraph because they have like the reading streak thing now. So that's fun. So I'm going to pick Blood Mercy by, what's her name? I keep thinking Grace Draven, but 0% is that true. I know that's not true. Vela Roth, Jesus Christ. I'm going to pick that one because while, spoiler alert, I've DNF'd the series, but that first book, I really, really liked it. It was very, very slow, but like mostly good, mostly positive. I rated it pretty highly. So I'm gonna go with that for the vibe of my reading year. It's like kind of slow, and it's not like hit after hit after hit or anything like that, but there's been some really good hits. There's been some really solid favorites and like favorites of all time, 100%. So yeah, I think that's a good one. There we go. That is my mid-year tag I'm doing. And let me know how your reading year has been. Has it been pretty good? Or have you been having a lot of misses? I hope not, because that always sucks. When you're just like, when am I gonna find a book I like ever again? Like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined and you have not already. You can leave an emoji if you just want to say hey. Pop a little cute, silly one or something, like a little random one, you know? Some totally random shit nobody ever uses. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.